It was August. It was a hot, humid night. And after dinner, Anna asked if she could go for a bike ride. And I said, okay, but don't be gone too long because Aunt Terry was going to be making strawberry shortcake for her. And we waited, and I guess it was 15, 20 minutes or so, and she wasn't home yet. And I just knew something was wrong. I drove down along the road, and I kept waiting, expecting to see her any second. And the next thing that I found was her bike lying on the side of the road. At first I thought, well, maybe she went into the woods to go to the bathroom, who knows? And I started to call her name, and I was calling Anna, Anna, and about the third time, I guess I really started to scream her name. They said she had been raped, she had been sodomized, she had, vaginal damage and stuff, you could see.
So this little girl were smart enough to know that their chances had gotten quite slim, and I don't think in their own hearts they expected good news. I hate to say it, but we sort of wrote her off as being murdered.
But early the next day, police went to the home of a woman who had just reported that she had found a girl wandering nude and dazed on a country road.
The girl was wrapped in a blanket sitting on the couch in a home. She was coherent, although badly beaten. In particular, her eyes, the whites of her eyes were completely red with blood.
A young girl clings to her mother after finding out her 9-year-old friend had been attacked and may not survive. Chicago police say the girl had been sexually assaulted inside her own Cabrini Green apartment building, left to die.
She's a sweet little girl, And it just breaks my heart.
Residents of 1121 Larrabee say a janitor found the girl lying face down and unconscious on the building's 7th floor, 3 floors above her apartment. They say the janitor left her outside an apartment door, and a woman residents called Big Sharon then called police.
We know that it took place in the building, but we're not able to pinpoint a location nor give any details as to the circumstances surrounding the incident.
But many who live here can give details. They say the 9-year-old victim was found partially clothed with gang symbols written in ink on her stomach. Commander Coleman says the assault is not gang-related. Residents agree, and many say they know the attacker.
Gangster disciple, but they know that was a cover-up for him, because he had just left our house 11:30. 10 minutes later, he had changed clothes.
Residents say that man was taken into custody. Chicago police won't say anything.
For a secure and safe future. Here, her Aunt Diane, I know you visited the child at the hospital. Are you, Diane, heartened by the fact that her condition has been upgraded?
It's improving a little bit. No.
Well, tell us how she's doing.
She keeps her eyes open.
Is she seeing?
She's trying. No, she's not seeing now.
You know that.
She tries to move her head, her feet, and long as you here, long as the family there to support her, and she can hear you. She can hear you, but she can't see you.
Why would someone do this to a child?
And there's some sick maniac out there. Because she been going to school by herself, going to school. She would come over to my house and pick my daughter up from school, But all of a sudden, this happened to her.
How did they figure?
Is right
How did they figure it happened? What was it, somebody hiding in the hallway? What?
She was on her way up to my mother's house. And then they think she was at school all this time. But the janitor found her upstairs on the 7th floor.
Describe your niece's condition when he found her.
She was foaming at the mouth.
Foaming at the mouth?
Her eyes.
Why was she foaming?
They spit. My mother's spit was coming out of her mouth.
So because they put gasoline in her belly?
They say it wasn't no gasoline. It was like controlled in, something to do with a car, and made her drink it.
Like a lubricant, some
Something
kind of
like
poison?
that,
Oh, son of a...
And her underwear was off. Her tongue was tied around her neck. They left her to die.
Her status now?
Well, right now she's in a rehabilitation institute where she has intensive physical therapy for the most part of the day. The idea being to keep her limbs moving and so on, so that when she does come back, she will not have contracted her muscles to the extent that she wouldn't be able to
So she was beaten, raped, poisoned?
She had graffiti scrawled on her abdomen, and she was strangled with her T-shirt, and she was found in the hallway on the stairwell. She was foaming from the mouth, and her eyes had rolled back into her head. And so initially she was in a coma at Children's Memorial Hospital, where she was there for about 3 weeks. And recently she was just moved to Schwab. Her condition was upgraded. She was in intensive care, and now she's in fair condition as it relates to whether it's life or death. But she's still not conscious of her surroundings.
Really?
Yeah.
Is she technically in a coma?
Technically in a coma, yes.
I heard they put gasoline down her throat.
They're not certain in terms of what that substance is. It could have been oil, car oil, or
And nobody
gasoline.
knows who did it?
Not yet. Not yet.
sliding glass door open. He ripped my clothing off, the bottom part of my clothing, my pants, my underwear, and then just violently began to hit and punch my face and the side of my head.
I saw him hammer, and I saw him like throw on the ground.
I fell back and hit my head and almost started to black out. And I remember telling myself, I cannot black out. My children are here.
It was so scary that I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I got scared. I had to keep my brother calm. He was crying. So he locked me and my sister in the bathroom.
I let my wedding ring drop in between my legs, and I gave him the other 2 rings because I thought he'd taken everything from me. But he couldn't have that because that was the most important thing to me.
Well, first of all, she's saying that she's been raped, she's been attacked. And I'm thinking, where are my babies, you know? I saw the kids were walking, I saw they were talking, and I saw they weren't bleeding. So at the time, I didn't think that the kids would have seen anything horrific or anything. I asked what had happened, and here's your little 3-year-old son says, some man broke in the house and pulled your mom's pants down.
And sometimes I have nightmares about that time. And I never want that to happen again to my mom or my sister. I'll never forget this. It'll always be somewhere inside me. I'll never forget what happened to my mom. He did such bad things to my mom.
You don't think anything like this is going to happen to you. You see it on the news. You see the anguish in the world, but you never think it's going to happen to you. Never.
dreams were she always wanted to be a star or do something. She wanted to be a performer, and we would kid her in the family, you know, that she was born to be an actress.
I'd play the guitar, she'd sing. Anytime I would sing at church, she'd want to sing with me. So she loved to sing, she loved to dance. I went out in our car and back over to the church and to the corner stores and to neighbors' houses and to friends' houses, and, you know, the initial search or, you know, trying to locate where she had gone. Did she disobey? Did she take a different path? Did she go see a friend? Really turning rapidly into a lot of fear and anxiety that something bad had happened. Do you know whether our daughter Sarah is alive or not? You know the truth. As her family, we need to know the truth. Please tell us what you know any way you can. We need to know where Sarah is. Please help us find her. Please allow her to experience the healing love of her family. Please, please help Sarah.
There was like 3 or 4 different photographs, but the one we finally ended up using on the major poster is her in a cheerleading sweatshirt, and we've had people comment to us that there's just something about her smile, or we knew her as a very vibrant, large part of our life, but Sarah somehow was capable of conveying that through her photograph on a black and white poster, and that touched people's hearts. And like Robert said, they related to us that that shouldn't happen to an innocent child, to be taken from someplace they're secure and be done to them whatever somebody evil wants to do, and then hide that from society. We came into our neighborhood miles away and totally took off with our daughter and did whatever he wanted with her, and we didn't know that for 5 months.
They went into the initial area based on a crudely drawn map that Lent had provided of an area where he said he buried Sarah, and they began to remove the snow, shovelful by shovelful.
See, Sarah was taken, and somebody abused her and murdered her and buried her. And we can't do anything about that, and no one else can either. But we have a right to get her back. And that's what we're waiting for, is getting her back.
Police say the 2 abduction murders are strikingly similar. Both Amber and Laura were abducted near their homes during daylight. Both suspects are thought to be white or Hispanic males driving a pickup truck. Both girls were found dead in water, and both were nude except for wearing one sock. Police theorize the sock could be the signature of a serial killer.
Now, how old is she in this picture here?
This one?
Right. If I got that right, it was probably taken last year, so she was 11.
You can't help but fall in love with Laura from the moment you lay eyes on her.
The beginning of the ballerina.
Exactly.
Because she's just that kind of a child. She touches everybody's lives who come into contact with her. Extremely intelligent, sensitive, caring, tolerant, compassionate.
What are the things she loves to do?
Ballet, ballet, ballet.
Our family really needs your assistance. Somebody must have seen something that morning.
Whoever has her could take another child. And we don't want your families to go through this.
We've asked the strength to endure. The community support has been like angel wings under our feet.
We just wanted to say thank you to everybody in Friendswood.
They have held us up. They have supported us.
We express from the bottom of our hearts our appreciation for everything that you have done.
I just hope they find her. We're all praying for her.
These are my candles. This one here is for my daughter, Amber. And this one here is for little Laura. She looks like my baby. And that last memory of my daughter is her riding on her pretty pink bike around the corner.
And took off. The girl was screaming. Yeah, she hollered when he grabbed her, because I could hear her come over here. So that's what made me think there was something foul about it.
A man in a black truck came up behind my daughter, grabbed her, and then within seconds he was gone with her.
they were good victims, and nobody would care about them getting off the street. I mean, what's more normal than a guy driving up to a prostitute and saying, you know, hey, I got 20 bucks, let's make a deal?
I called the task force, and I proceeded to get the same story that I had gotten for 2 years. And
Which was what?
They had not made any connection between Debbie and prostitution, and until they do, they weren't in the business of looking for runaways. That was the typical story. And so I told him that I had pulled her picture out of their file. And he said, oh yeah, we've been looking for Betty Jones, you know, since 1982 because nobody's seen her.
It's like they don't matter, that this is common trash. And these are children. And this is my girl. And she's not trash.
She told me it was Tracy, she'd been murdered. I had a 25-mile drive to come home. That was an awful long drive. Just kept saying, baby, baby, baby. Can't be.
It seemed as though there was nothing that Denise couldn't do. She was a very loving girl, very kind, very compassionate. She was everything.
grew up in a family with 5, and they chose to send all of us to a Catholic grade school and high school because they believed that the priests and nuns really provided the best, most well-rounded education and were sensitive to families, and it was an intimate environment. And my mother thought it would be the safest place for her children. And there was a new priest at the school. He had just finished at the seminary. And he chose little girls to bring him a carton of milk every morning to start the day, because the belief, or what was told to all the families, is the pastor at the church wouldn't allow the young priest to have milk. This is the story. So this priest would choose a little girl to bring him. And he chose me because he thought I was cute and sweet, and he wanted me. And he made that known to my family, and he made it known to my teacher and to the principal of the school. Each time I would come with this carton of milk, he would want me closer, and then it got to the point where he was undressing me. He'd take my underwear off and proceeded to massage around my vagina to prepare to enter, to penetrate. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. And also, at the same time, he would have erections, of course, and I was confused. Here's this erection. And I was afraid. And he would take my face and put my face into his chest so I wouldn't see him. He could see how my body was formed and shaped. But I was not to see him. I was to close my eyes, and he put my face in his chest and had me, whatever. I can't even say it. Had me stimulate him, had me masturbate him so he'd have an erection, or he would ejaculate. It was awful. This man was very, very evil. I saw other little girls marching down that sidewalk with their little cartons of milk. It was like the concentration camp. Nobody knew what he did in that room. Nobody probably would have imagined what he was doing. But I knew at 7.
things that she said that he did to her was that when she would try to yell for my help, he would cover her mouth and plug her nose so she couldn't breathe. And he would do that while he was sodomizing her.
People have to understand that this is something that can happen to them. They have to take measures to protect their kids. And if they don't learn something from our story, they're in trouble.
Wish that anybody that thinks of doing this to a girl could just somehow understand what it does to someone's life when you victimize someone like that. It's like stealing a part of them and killing it is what it's, that's what I feel like. There's a part of me that died when he did that to me.
I mean, she was just a joy to be around. She was extremely bright. She could read at 8th grade level and 3rd grade, and she was so much fun.
So how old was she when you discovered that Tina had at least
15.
First time you think she turned to prostitution?
Yeah.
The money is fast and it's easy, but you gotta degrade yourself so much to get it.
I sit in my cell and watch the days go by. As I think of you, I wonder why. It was never so bad. I was never this sad.
But she would try to go back home and everything, and I guess that really didn't work out too well. She came back because you can't treat the pain.
What had happened to make it so horrible?
She had sexual adventures unwillingly. I guess by one of her mother's boyfriends or something.
She told you this? When she was what? She must have been 10 years old.
She didn't say.
But very young.
Yeah. Anybody's too young to be raped.
Did she talk to her mother about it?
She said she's tried.
I want to ask you about something it isn't easy to ask about. But we have talked to friends of Tina on the street. They say she said that when she was living here with you, early on, one of your boyfriends raped her.
I don't know. If I knew it happened, I would probably kill them. I was sexually abused as a small child. I was repeatedly, for months, molested by a neighbor when I was 5. And I was an incest victim when I was 15. And when my daughter was born, I told her father that if you ever touch my child, I'll kill you. I will never have her hurt the way I was.
Do you think there was a horrible memory here for her?
I don't know, but it scares me now to think there would have been. And Sunday morning, the sun was shining, and we hadn't been up probably a half an hour when the coroner came to our door. And he told me that they had found her body. And I couldn't believe it.
I don't understand how it could be. I don't know why it happened to me.
I was the innocent one, just trying to have a little fun. It turned out to be an evil night. It was the time I had to fight. I screamed and struggled to set myself free. But now, but he kept all his body weight on me. I did everything in my power I could to get away like I should have. But he threatened me with a gun. Now you can tell it was no fun. Once I was free, I started to cry. I still don't understand why.